The debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz is coming up pretty soon, so I figured now would be a better time than ever to remind everyone who Tim Walz really is. You see, the Kamala Harris campaign, all of a sudden out of nowhere, for the last few days now, have started to pretend as if they care about the crisis at the southern border. All of a sudden, Kamala has flip-flopped, or I don't even want to say flip-flopped. All of a sudden, Kamala Harris has just started blatantly lying to everyone, pretending as if she's going to be strict on the border. It's really crazy to see, especially if you're someone who's been paying attention to the things that she has said in the past. But if you think Kamala Harris is crazy, if you think she's extreme, Tim Walz, oh boy, let me tell you, Tim Walz not only acknowledges that our country is being flooded with immigrants, Tim Walz brags about flooding his own communities with refugees. People from Haiti, people from the Congo, people from various places in South America. He is flooding his community with these refugees, and he brags about it. He brags about replacing his own people within the communities that he governs over. And not just that, he brags about the fact that at the elementary schools, the middle schools in his areas, they speak 50 different languages because there's kids from all over. Now imagine that. How can a kid get a proper education? How can a teacher even do their job if you got people speaking 50 different languages? But I don't want you all to just take my word for it. You know I bring the receipts. You know I got the clip. Let's listen to Tim Walz brag about this for a moment, and then I'll be right back.
We have more refugees per capita than any other state. That's not just morally a good thing. It's our economic and cultural future. This beautiful diversity we see out in Worthington when I'm there, you see 50 languages spoken in the school.
Folks, I need you all to understand that the situation is so bad in some areas. Americans, citizens of these areas who were born and raised in these areas are taking their kids to school, and they're being told that they have to hire interpreters. You don't have to hire an interpreter because your child speaks some foreign language. No, because your child speaks English. Their English-speaking children are the minorities in these schools. And the teachers and the people who are hired to work in some of these schools and daycares, they all speak other languages. Languages from around the world, but they don't speak English. And they're telling people they have to hire translators with their own money. And folks, it's not just in Minnesota. It's happening in places like Ohio. It's happening in other places in America as well. In fact, one man was recently speaking out about this because he had a situation like this go on with his grandson. Let's roll this clip and then I'll be right back.
So wait till you hear this one. I'm taking my dog for a walk. Anyway, so my daughter enrolls my 4-year-old grandson into preschool last week. And they have a little meet and greet. I think it was Thursday. I just heard about this yesterday. And if you watch my channel, you know I live in small town Ohio. So she goes, takes him down to the meet and greet. They tell her, that she has to hire a translator with her own money in order to send him to preschool because he is the only student that doesn't speak Spanish. Really? So obviously she didn't do it. She pulled him out of preschool. And this migrant problem is it's not a red state, blue state thing, because I live in a red state and we're just overrun with them. So it's our whole government. It's all of them. Can you believe that? Can't go to preschool because he doesn't speak Spanish. Unbelievable.
So this is what's happening right here in America, folks. And you heard it out of Tim Walz's mouth himself. This is the future, he says. Replacing everyday Americans with refugees from God knows where, that's the future. Your kids having to go to a school where they don't even speak English anymore here in America. That's the future, says Tim Walz. So don't believe Kamala Harris or any of these slithering, slimy serpents when they lie out of their freaking mouths saying that they're going to do this on the southern border. They're going to do this and crack down on immigration. No. As soon as they get a little bit of power, they're going to do what Joe Biden did. They're going to do what Tim Walz is bragging about. And they're going to continue to flood communities. They're going to continue doing so no matter how many violent people they let in. It's absolutely insane to think about. Hearing some of the news stories, reading some of the news stories, you all have read them too. It's absolutely horrific. Now imagine that, but 1,000 times worse. That's what we're looking at here, folks. But I just wanted you all to hear from the real Tim Walz. Because there's no, who knows which Tim Walz we'll hear from in the debate. He'll try to sugarcoat things and he'll probably change, a lot of his opinions, and he'll lie about this and he'll lie about that. But the real Tim Walz brags about replacing the people in his own community. But for now, I want you all to let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell. And if you find yourself getting too worked up by all of this, remember, it's just political cinema.